Power Racer, released in 1990 for the Game Boy courtesy of Tecmo, is a maze game of sorts where the goal is to grab all the dots from the screen without crashing into the other car. Succeed and you move on to the next round where you get to do the whole thing all over again. Fail and you'll have to redo the board, which entails redoing the whole board and doing the whole thing all over again. You can only drive forward, but you can speed up and you can switch lanes, which helps. The game starts you off with 3 lives, with a new one earned every 30,000 points scored, and once all lives are exhausted, it's game over. Now if the concept seems somewhat familiar to the older lot, it's primarily due to the fact that Power Racer takes inspiration, shall we say, from an old Sega arcade title called Head On, which coincidentally inspired, if you will, another clone called Dodge'em for the Atari video computer system. And I'm sure there are other inspired titles of these ilks as well. And if you were to play Power Racer's normal mode, what you would have is a competent copy of that older title with somewhat nicer graphics and some background music. However, it's the game's special mode where the idea gets a bit of a boost, introducing oil slicks, conveyor belts, additional walls, and other sorts of bips and bobs. And then there's the 2-player mode playable via Game Link. In any event, Power Racer gives you plenty of gaming variety with its rather simplistic and challenging gameplay, and make no mistake, Power Racer doesn't mess around, which is why they give you the option to choose a starting round before each game, later rounds introducing a second opponent for you to dodge. Controls in Power Racer are quite simple. You use the D-pad to move and steer your racer around, and the A button speeds up your car. In special mode, you'll come across special items to help you out. These can be activated by pressing the B button. While the controls are simple and responsive, which is important for a game of this ilk, equally important is learning to control your racer effectively because, again, one wrong move can mean instant death, and you'll have to redo the course from scratch, so don't crash. Power Racer poses a bit of a challenge as a result, and games can be over before they even begin. The somewhat stiff learning curve and crash into reality may turn off some players on its simplistic fare. However, those who stick with it will find an addictive quality to the game, where you just have to try and conquer all the rounds contained within. And if you do fancy a tougher challenge, you can simply pick a later round or try your hand at the special mode, which adds gimmicks to the whole head-on Dodge'em Power Racer thing. Normal mode thing. Yeah. Power Racer's graphics are simplistic to the point of minimalism. Aside from the fancy title screen and intermissions, you have 2 or 3 tiny carts that look like carts at least, a few dots and lines, and some optional gimmicks. The power-ups are somewhat indecipherable without an instruction booklet, but such is life for a game of this ilk. As for sound, it's passable. You have a limited number of high-octane musical pieces that serve the game, and a serviceable amount of sound effects, and that is pretty much all. Overall, if you enjoy the old head-on or Dodge'em games, or simply want a challenging old-school game, Power Racer provides an updated take on the classic formula, and even offers a different mode with more variety. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but at the very least, it's a functional game that does more right than wrong, and it's something somewhat different at least, so yar. That's Power Racer for Game Boy.